I played basketball for over 10 years, and I have watched a lot of film. Here's what I learned and how you can apply it to your game. The first concept that I believe any basketball player needs to understand is basketball is all about patterns. Every play, every possession, and every read you make follows a particular sequence that becomes more and more predictable the more you've seen it. For example, if a defender goes under a ball screen, you shoot. If they go over the ball screen, you put them on your hip and get downhill. The more patterns you recognize, the slower the game will feel. And that's when you start to see your scoring averages going up, man. Think about it like this. Recognizing a pattern on the basketball court is like diagnosing a sickness. Once you know what the sickness is, you already have half the cure. So whatever the game throws at you, you'll know exactly what to do because you've seen it already. Now here's my extremely complex and really difficult to understand formula for slowing the game down and understanding patterns. You don't want to miss this. It's going to be extremely difficult to understand. Are you ready? Number 1, play in as many games as possible. And number 2, study a ton of film. Alright, the next breakthrough I made is something that isn't talked about enough in the basketball community, and I don't understand why. The best offensive players do not overcomplicate their game. Let's think about shiftiness for a second, because I get this question all the time. How do I become more shifty on the basketball court? Let's take a look at this SGA bump step back. SGA sees his defender leaning toward the basket, so he bumps him off and takes a step back dribble and has an open shot. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander understands this simple principle more than any other basketball player I've seen. That principle is shiftiness is not about knowing 100 moves. Shiftiness is about knowing how to manipulate your defender's momentum. See, if we go back to that example, the defender's momentum carries him away, which gives Shai an open jumper. It's simple cause and effect. It's physics. It's not flashiness. And that's probably why you'll hear coaches say, attack that top foot or stop on a dime. The shiftiest players take advantage of momentum. Alright, the next lesson I have for you is body language controls momentum. Now, the type of momentum I'm speaking of is the emotional kind. You know, like when a team goes on a 10-point swing, they have all the momentum, right? I'm not talking about weight transfer anymore. Okay. Momentum is not random. It comes from body language. So you think of it, the teams that stay loud, they're confident, and they're hyped up, they are way more likely to swing the game in their favor. I see it constantly. One team starts clapping, yelling, and celebrating the little things. Something shifts. You know, I've been helping out coaching my old high school basketball team. I've been helping them out in the fall. And it's so interesting to see this play out. Because once my team, or once the opposing team, puts their head down or starts getting mad at themselves, immediately something shifts, man. See, that's why it's so important to lead with positivity. It is so contagious. Another thing related to this is basketball is a game of runs. Most basketball games are not back and forth like you might think. You don't always have this one team that scores a two-pointer, and then you have another two-pointer, and then they score 3, they score another 2, right? It's not always back-to-back scores like that. Oftentimes, one team gets the momentum shift, and then it swings back in the other direction. Some team goes on a 10-0 run, right? Something like that. Your energy is what sparks the momentum shifts. So the earlier you can get your team to rally up, get hype, clap, be loud, the easier it will be to get that change in momentum. And here's the other thing. If you hold on to that momentum for longer, it becomes less and less possible for the other team to climb back in the game. You know, if your momentum carries you to a 30-point lead, it's much harder to come back from that. And in turn, it's hard for an opposing team to build momentum realistically because a lot of them are just going to think, oh, we lost. You know, we're down by 30 anyway. See how it all ties together? On to the next. This is actually my personal favorite on the list. Basketball is art. That court is your canvas. And you're the artist. You can express yourself however you want if you built the foundation. A lot of players want to have the really cool moves and have a very deep bag before they got the foundation set up. You have to understand the fundamentals of the game. You have to be comfortable in different game-like scenarios, different game situations, before you level up to the more advanced moves. You know what I'm saying? When I look at some of the greatest players film, they are so comfortable with their playstyle because their fundamentals are so strong. The best players are free to do whatever they want on the basketball court because they've earned that ability. They've earned it through hours and hours and hours of reps. So the bottom line is, don't restrict yourself. You don't have to be Mr. Fundamental and have no bag. However, get your fundamentals right first. Alright? The next piece of advice I have for you actually came from my high school basketball coach. I learned this from him in about my junior year. There is a huge difference between just watching and actually studying film. When you're studying film, you've got to watch it in slow motion. The reason for watching film in slow motion is because that is the only way you will be able to notice the small details, the footwork, the body angle, the timing, the weight transfer, right? That stuff will only pop out to you if you're watching it in slow motion. When my coach taught me this, it completely changed how I watched film. And I absorbed so much more information from every single film study. Also, when you're studying your own film, when you're watching it in slow motion, you're gonna find that a lot of mistakes repeat. Don't get frustrated with this. Just eliminate one mistake at a time. Think about it like this. Let's say you're watching your film and you notice you dribble with your head down, right? You can look at that film, see that you're dribbling with your head down, and fix it in practice. Let's say a couple weeks go by and you feel much more comfortable with your head up on the court. Great. Here's what's going to happen. Your mistakes will go from a beginner level to a higher level mistake. Here's an example of a low tier mistake. Losing your dribble because you dribbled off your foot. A high level mistake would be missing a read on a pick and roll when you should have passed to the roller, but instead you went downhill. That's progress. Every mistake you fix will move you up a level. And the cool thing is, once you get up to the higher levels, the mistakes become less and less noticeable, but you'll be able to figure them out because you're watching film in slow motion and you've leveled up before, so you know how to get from A to B. Number 6, basketball IQ is more valuable than you think. IQ is what separates the good from the great. Straight up. Once you hit higher levels of basketball, athleticism alone is not enough. You need wisdom, the ability to think the game. You know, Proverbs 8:11 says, "For wisdom is more precious than rubies, and nothing you desire can compare with her." That applies perfectly to basketball. Wisdom is what sustains your success when talent fades. Number 7, faith gives you real peace and strength. I want to leave you with this, man. Jesus Christ is what's going to keep you grounded, bro. Not because he'll magically make you successful, but because he'll make you feel fulfilled, even when you're struggling. See, faith isn't about escaping pain. It's about finding meaning in it. So when you have every film session, every injury, or every loss, they all shape you for a greater purpose. So when you have a bad game, you don't want to watch that film. You've got to watch it, man. That will be the best material for you to learn from, is the times when you didn't play well. You'll be able to see when the mistakes pop up. Of course, make sure to remind yourself of the good times. Watch good film as well, but take advantage of the bad film too. Don't get upset when you have a bad game. Get excited to learn. And when you play with that kind of mindset, you stop chasing validation and you start to play free. So bottom line, man, Jesus Christ is king. Put your faith in him and he'll direct your path, alright? Amen. Now, if you want to learn how to get so good at basketball, you question why you ever struggled, click here. But as always, keep God first. Stay blessed, bro. Love y'all, boys.